become an influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.
Welcome, and today we have another exciting day before us, and today we're going to be looking at a number of important topics. Today's topic, we're going to be looking at branding and marketing, and it falls under our heading Business Boot Camp. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to say just before we get started. All right, and what I'm about to say is very, very, very important. One, a brand is not made for everyone. And that's the first thing that I want you to take some notes of, because very often as a rising star in business, you tend to believe that your product or your service is for everyone. And that's far, far, far away from the truth. But every business needs a brand, and every brand must be unique and relevant to the ideal client. I'm going to talk briefly about this. Unique and relevance are influenced by three factors. One, demographic data. Two, psychographic data. And three, geographic data. These data enables you to be market oriented and market sensitive and market responsive. Now, if you're in business and you don't understand this ecosystem that I've just spoken about, believe me, you're hurting your chances to cash flow optimize. You're hurting your chances to break through the know, like, and trust. You're hurting your chances to grow and to scale your operation. So in today's program, I will try my best to unlock some of the realities in terms of branding and marketing. So moving forward, you have a clear mental picture of practical steps that you can take to position your business for greatness. Now, with me in the studio, I have a team of dynamic personalities that will help me navigate the conversation. I have Clement Frank, and Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession. He is also a leader by practice. But guess what? He's also doing his first book, and I just can't wait to get my hands on his book because it's going to be helping you to understand business and leadership, both of which you need to be successful in life. I also have Paul Whitehouse, and Paul Whitehouse, he is involved in finance. He is what you would want to call a BFC, a business finance consultant. So when you want access to capital, whether it be debt or equity, credit or creative finance or real estate financing, the person to talk to is Paul Whitehouse. And today he's going to be talking to us about money, about his brand. So when you need money most, you know exactly where to go to access that capital. Along with that, I have the mighty Peter Scott in the house. And Peter Scott, Peter Scott, he is the guy that is going to be talking to you about your legacy chronicle, about your human growth master planning. And he's the guy that would say, if you don't have a master plan, perhaps you're not ready for business and you're not ready for life. So he's going to have that talk with us today. So moving forward, you're going to not just know the importance of getting that plan, but you're going to get that plan because you need it for your life. That plan is like that, you're on ship, you're at sea. But you can either be the captain that knows how to captain your ship, or you can be the captain that don't have a clue how to captain ship. Which one do you prefer? Guys, welcome to Business Boot Camp. And I must say, it's a tremendous pleasure to have each and every one of you in studio. How are you guys?
Good.
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 I'm hanging out
Um,
with a bunch of authors here. Ooh,
you got it.
I know these
You
guys.
need.
Hmm.
What did they say? That they said it's time for you to get that book title behind your name too, Paul. So we can put all those money hacks and money secrets in those books, man. Yes, my friend. So today we're talking about branding and marketing. I do believe that every business needs a brand, and every brand must be unique and relevant. It must be marketable. One of the things that I see happens very often is that, a rising star is born. The rising star wants to be successful, wants the cash flow optimize, and that seems to be the key focus. And I would normally say you need to pause a bit. So you need to focus on your client, on the ideal client. You need to take the time to really understand your ideal client from several different standpoints. What I'm attempting to do is to break down some of what I said, because a brand must be unique and a brand must be relevant to the ideal client. And uniqueness and relevance can only give birth when you have an understanding of the ideal client. For example, every consumer, they're different, and people make a purchasing decision based on economics. People make purchasing decision based on emotional attachment and cultural realities, and people make a purchasing decision based on geography. Yes, geography. And if you don't know this, you about the ideal client, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And briefly about geographics, you would find as you travel around the world, there are purchasing decisions that is made based on where you're living. All right, there are certain cultural factors that influence that. Is that, for example, when you come to the Caribbean, um, you're going to see that there's a certain type of purchasing pattern. When you go to India, you see a certain type of purchasing pattern. And when you go to the European, you see a different type of purchasing pattern. And all of that is influenced by culture and geography and those factors. And you need to be aware of it when we're building a brand, especially when you're building a brand and you want to take that brand beyond local. You want to take that brand international, into regional, and into international markets. These are important concepts that you need to think about, because divorced from thinking about this, you can make yourself irrelevant or exclusive to that market. On this platform, I can only give a high level overview because there's a lot to unpack, but I just want to start our conversation from that point. I want to now move to Frank, sorry, to Paul, to talk to us briefly about some of the financial instruments that you have available. I do believe that every rising star in business, every existing business, they need capital. And I want them to know that on our platform, we live to ensure that businesses access the much needed capital to grow and scale. So, Paul, all to you, and then I'm going to come across to Frank to chime into the conversation.
Okay, I'm Frank. He's Paul. Remember, right? No, I'm
I
Paul.
didn't. I didn't make an error, right? I referred to you as Paul.
You did it right this time. Yeah,
Got it
I'm just
correct
teasing.
this time. Got you. You see, I'm only seeing one ball here today, so there's no reason for me to make that mistake, right? The other ball head is covered up.
Right. Not now.
You're gonna
Not now.
confuse him
No,
now.
no, you created problems, right?
Well, thank you. And Patriot Business Finance Consultants, we have, I mean, I will go ahead, I'll just go ahead and say, I think we've got every front covered. Equipment financing. Every business needs equipment. So they're either going to pay cash or finance it. And you mentioned earlier, you really need to know what's the best type of financing. So with equipment, the best way to finance and own the equipment is equipment leasing as compared to bank financing for equipment. Leasing is the best. Here's the reasons. Less of a down payment to get into it. Uh, Moves quicker, smoother, and easier. And there's tax advantages. And I can prove all that to you because all of the largest companies in the world use equipment leasing as their method to get ownership of equipment. So we provide that through a wide network of lenders. Real estate financing, commercial and investment property, got you covered, lowest cost of money. Our lenders are not banks. They're lenders who only finance real estate. Why is that important? It's because you would want to work with a specialist instead of a generalist. Now, are banks, is your local bank bad for real estate financing? Do they do it? They do it. It's not bad, but there's better. What is better? Lower cost of money. And that's what my lenders provide. They will be less expensive than the bank you've been working with for 30 years because they focus on one thing. They don't do auto loans, they don't issue debit cards, they don't hold deposits. They put money out. They take it in when they get their profit from the deal, but they don't hold deposits. So their sole focus every day is to say yes to deals and put the money out there. A couple of other things, several other things actually. Sale leaseback. It's a great way to raise working capital. Um, Getting a line of credit, which we do that, but getting a line of credit obviously has advantages, but it has disadvantages also because you get once a year, you get an annual review. So if you get a line of credit established with the bank, if we set that up for you, because we can do that for you as well. But what you have to do is like respect it, maintain it, and don't spend it all. A line of credit is to be used for opportunities and emergencies, just like your cash reserve opportunities and emergencies. You don't use your line of credit to buy equipment with. That's the wrong tool because if something happens, there's a dip in business, there's a personal setback, and it's the world. Things happen. It's so be prepared for things to happen. But if something happens to you and you go through that annual review and you're not looking as good as you were last year, the lender can call that money back in. And if you spent all of it, you better come up with it somehow. So there's a different way to do that. And if you have difficult credit and you cannot get approved for a loan for a line of credit, then where do you get the cash that you need for your opportunity or emergency? Sale lease back. Patriot Business Finance Consultants, Global Capital Incorporated, call us. How will we get it accomplished for you? If you own equipment free and clear or with a low balance, that's an asset. We can set the arrangement up. The leasing company can buy that equipment from you. They're going to leave it there. They're not going to buy it and come pick it up and take it away so you can't use it because you need to use it to maintain the business, make profit to pay that back. So they'll buy the equipment from you. You're financing a piece of equipment. Continue use of it, make the money, make the payments, and then at the end of it, there's a $1 buyout. After you've made all the payments on time, there's a $1 buyout, pay a dollar, you own that equipment again.
Wow.
So there's sale leaseback. Yep. Oh, thanks, Pete. So factoring, your accounts receivable are one of your greatest assets of your business. It's a bunch of money that people owe you, and you're waiting to collect it. But here's the problem: uh, you might be having cash flow problems, and you're waiting for everybody to pay for you. You're putting out 100 or more invoices every month, and then you're waiting 30, 60, or 90 days to get paid. That could affect your cash flow. So how do you solve that problem? You sell your accounts receivable for a discount. What's the discount? Depends on the annual volume that you commit to. It could be 1.5 points. It could be 3 points if you commit to a low annual, volume business that you'll do with the factoring company. But it's you. Here's a way we like to put it. It's your money. Why wait? It is your money. You've paid for the service to be accomplished. You paid your employees. You're paying payroll. You're putting money out. If it's a product, then you bought the raw materials. You built the product. You paid everybody to do it. You paid for the truck to deliver it to your customer, and now you've got to wait. And you have no choice but to wait, because if you don't give terms, do not expect to do business to business. This isn't good English, but I was going to say business to business, but let's say B2B business, and not offer terms, because everybody else is offering terms. You're not competitive if you're not giving them an invoice and says, pay me in 30 days. That's what they want. That's what they expect. That is what you kind of have to do. So, yeah, it's your money. Why wait? We can get you that money right now. Cash your invoices in, increase your cash flow. That's one product that we can arrange for you. And most of these deals that I'm telling you about, the lender pays us. You don't pay us. So that's even a better thing right there. Purchase order financing, you have a large order that you cannot fill because you don't have the cash to provide that service or make that product. You get an order of 1 million shoes from Target, from Walmart, from whatever, you name your client, and you need to fill that order, but you don't have the cash. Well, a PO financing company will step in. They'll handle all the details of that purchase order for you, pay for the raw materials, pay for the manufacturing, pay for the truck or the boat to take it across the ocean, get it to your client. Your client pays the bill, everybody gets paid. You pay the PO financing company the cost of money for that service, because it's not free, but it's not expensive either. And you've fulfilled that order instead of saying, I can't fill the order, and passing it up. So, there's a couple more programs, raising Securities Exchange Commission compliant capital raises, and those are used for startup businesses, and as well growth capital for existing businesses. So we've got all those products available for you. The lenders want to say yes. If you're in need of capital, get a hold of Gary, get a hold of me. Let's set an appointment, and let's get it done for you under the best circumstances. Thanks, Gary.
All right, great share, Paul. And there's a couple of things that I want to say to the audience based on what Paul would have just expressed. You might be asking yourself what capital financial instrument has to do with branding and marketing. And I want to say it has everything to do with branding and marketing. And just let me help you to see the perspective that I'm coming from. Understanding financial instruments helps you, the business leader, in more ways than one. And I'm going to give you 3 ways. One, understanding financial instruments helps you to identify the best financial tool or the best financial instruments that you should be using. It also gives you access to capital, so you're able to take your vision and invest in your vision, because you no longer have a bottleneck with access to capital. You now have the access to capital to move the vision forward. So that's one benefit. The second benefit is that it's helped the business in itself, because your business, you are now able to offer a line of credit to your client. Paul was just talking about a specific funding source that enables you to do that. So because you are now able to offer net 30, net 90, net 60 to your clientele base, several things happen here for the business. People are more inclined to do business with you because you don't have to have that liquid cash when they're coming to make a purchase. They can leverage the line of credit. So understanding financial instrument and incorporating the right tools into your branding and into your marketing is going to set you up for success. Now, why do you think some of the biggest companies, or most of the biggest companies, because you have Walmart that is doing this, you have Amazon that is doing that, you have Macy's that is doing this, they all are offering line of credit, and they make this process so easy for the consumers and the beneficiaries to access this. We do this for our clients all the time. You can go on the phone, you can probably spend a half an hour to an hour, and bam, you get a line of credit. What that line of credit allows you to do, it allows you to get into business. It allows you to do branding. There's so much. I'm giving some high level overview. The third benefit here, it helps the client, because a client that may want to acquire a piece of equipment, acquire that may want to acquire specific service to help in their business visibility, reach, and impact, client optimization, that don't have the cash to do it now, guess what? They have access to you. They have access to your brand. So all of these things helps in you to craft your brand and to communicate a stronger message to the ideal client. That by extension helps the business in itself to be more marketable to the client, and that in itself sets the stage up for you to be more successful. So those are some of the things that I've taken away from what Paul would have said, and I trust that these nuggets, you are taking them away. I don't want you to look at things in one way. You can look at this from multiple ways, and that's why you have business consultants on your side to help you to see the whole picture. Frank, all to you, my friend. I know you're going to bring in your leadership equation, your economic background, but can't wait to hear from you, my friend.
Thanks, Gary, and welcome to all listening at this moment. And this morning, we want to look at the leadership brand as a business leader. A strong and distinctive leadership brand can be a game changer. But it's not just about having a personal brand. It's about cultivating a leadership brand that resonates with your teams, your stakeholders, and board of directors. A leadership brand that is effectively built and managed can propel your career, multiply your impact, and shape your organization's culture and performance. So you need to have an understanding of the leadership brand because it is essential. Uh, that is essentially your reputation as a leader. It's a collective impression people have of you based on your actions, based on the decisions, your communication style, and interactions. Your leadership brand, much like your personal brand, is a manifestation of your values, your beliefs, your principles. It's how you lead, how you achieve results, and how you fulfill commitments. In order to build a strong and distinctive leadership brand, it's important to understand the core elements of your own leadership style and how it reflects your values, beliefs, and principles. It is also essential to be aware of how you come across to others, how people perceive you, and your leadership approach. And this requires being mindful of how you communicate and interact with others, how you make decisions and manage difficult situations. It's also important to be proactive in understanding the needs of your team members and stakeholders. So, by taking steps to understand and shape how you come across as a leader, you can create a leadership brand that resonates with those around you.
Mhm.
Having a leadership brand is very important. And what's the importance of it? It is your professional identity. It is what sets you apart from others, establishing your credibility and your influence. So if you have a strong leadership brand, it can enhance trust, it can attract and retain talent, foster innovation and drive organizational growth. On the contrary, a weak or inconsistent leadership brand can hinder performance and impede career progression. It can result in miscommunication, unmet expectation, and a disconnected team. Therefore, consciously shaping your leadership brand is crucial. Now, I just want to give you a step-by-step guide. I won't go deep down into it, but the first step is you need to define what's your vision and values. So this brand should be rooted in your vision and values. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What's your vision as a leader? Your answers to these questions will lay the foundation for your leadership brand. Ensure that your brand aligns with your core values, aligns with your visions that you have for yourself and the organization. Identify USP, which is a unique selling proposition. Every leader brings something unique to the table. What you need to do is identify what differentiates you from other leaders. Do you excel at solving complex problems? Are you known for your innovative thinking, or is it your ability to inspire and motivate your team that sets you apart? Your USP is a key component of your leadership brand. The third step is to craft your leadership brand statement. Once you've defined your vision, once you've defined your values and your team, it is time to craft a statement for the leadership brand. This statement should encapsulate who you are as a leader and what you stand for and what makes you unique. It's like your leadership tagline, a succinct and powerful representation of your leadership brand. You need to strive for consistency, which is a key to building a strong leadership brand. Your actions, decisions, communication should consistently reflect your leadership brand, and this helps in reinforcing your brand and building trust. Then you need to seek feedback and continuously improve. Needless to say, building a leadership brand is not a one-time exercise. You need to seek feedback from your team, seek feedback from peers, superiors, in order to understand how your leadership brand is received. And you use this feedback to continuously refine and improve your leadership brand. Social media plays a great role when you're building that leadership brand. Because in this digital age, your leadership brand should be out there. It provides a platform in the social media arena to showcase your thought leadership, you share valuable insights, and engage with your team, your peers, and the broader business community. It must have a shared driven content. You must be engaging with your audience. It must maintain consistency. So once you have these in place, you will have one of the best brand for leadership. Over to you, Gary.
All right, great share. And Frank, I just want to add a little bit more to what you would have said. I love the concept on leadership and brand. I want to say this: every brand or strong brand does two basic things. It adds value and it fixes a problem. But for you, the brand leader, to add value and fix problems with clinical precision, it is necessary that you have a clear understanding as to who that brand is being built for. If you don't understand who your brand is being built for, it's going to make it difficult for you to achieve the clinical objective of adding value and fixing problems. Now, I would have said at the beginning of this program, your ability to add value and fix problems will ultimately depend on how well you understand who you're serving or who you intend to serve. And the only way you can know this is by doing the research. It's about collecting the right information. It's about analyzing the information in the right way. It's about leveraging the information. And by leveraging, it means that you innovate in products and services in a manner that appeals to the interests of the specific target market. That's what we call leveraging. And last is the mitigation of information. Information realities, market realities, shifts in market reality change. So you have to have uh, a marketing system that is constantly up to date with data collection in order to adjust your marketing vehicles and tools to continuously achieve the business objective. Last on this particular point, I also want to say that in building a brand, it's important to recognize that the different types of brand that we have, you can either be building a premium brand, and premium brand are always for high net worth individuals. And high net worth individuals, they have a particular taste, a particular expectation. They represent a particular lifestyle and culture. And if you want to cater to the interests of high net worth individuals, it's important that you take the time to understand them. All right, because it's the only way your brand will have its unique features that is relevant to that demographic. Outside of building premium brands, you have two other options. You have the supplementary brands, and supplementary brands tend to stand on its own, but it stands as a substitute. A quick example of this, there's a difference between Prado or Infinity and Toyota Corona, but both are built to deliver similar results. But of course, one, you're going to have an enhanced quality of experience as against just an experience. You also have the complementary brand, and the complementary brand may complement both premium brands and also supplementary brand. You see, the more you know which of these spectrums you're playing on, it means the better you understand your target market. And the more you understand your target market, the more clinical you can be when it comes to providing a product or providing a service to that ideal client. So this is just a little bit I'd want to share. Now, I just don't want to share it and just leave you there. I want to point you to where you can get this information. I want to encourage you to go to the link that is showing currently on the screen. And when you go to this link and you press on that link, it will take you to this page, which is our Shopify storefront. And we have 11 books titled Master the Sales Communication Process. Now, if you're in business, you owe it to yourself to take the time to understand how sales processes works, how communication processes works, how business processes works, how financial system works. You have 11 books that cover all of the areas that we have just talked about and so much more. So I want to encourage you to take some time, navigate this page, which is habitsandmoney.myshopify.com, and get volume 1. Start with volume 1, and you can work your way up to volume 11. We will be happy. Me and my team, we will be so happy to work with you. We have a number of persons that we are working with to ensure that you understand the concept, you're now able to apply the concept to your business to be successful. Once you have the book serves as a manual to some of the training programs that we are running, and you owe it to yourself when you want to win in business to get the right information. So, with that being said, I want to come over to my colleague Peter, who will talk to us a little bit about master planning. He will talk to us about his platform and what he can do and for you. Peter, all to you.
Yeah, Gary, and as usual, we want to just welcome all our listeners from wherever you are across the globe. It's always a delight to have you here on the Business Booth Camp. And like I said many times, or I've said before, that if I had a platform like this several years ago, I would have been so much advanced in what we are accomplishing today. But just to touch on the topic that we're speaking about today, branding and marketing and the importance of it thereof, and how the Human Growth Master Plan, the Legacy Chronicles Human Growth Master Plan, is designed to accomplish this. First of all, the Legacy Chronicles, or a part of our mission, is to help people to be remembered. So our slogan is "Be Remembered," in alignment with the concept of legacy, and getting people to understand the importance of legacy. We help people to be remembered. To be memorable, as Gary used the term, there has to be a clinical approach. And briefly, let me just say this: there is a couple of steps, actually seven. There much more, but let me just talk about 7 steps to achieve that clinical kind of surgeon application that we need to do where branding is concerned. First of all, you need to be memorable. That is number one, because you're going to stamp. It's all psychological. So you want to stamp your mark, your brand in the mind of those persons that you intend to serve. And in order for you to do that, then you have to have a clear mission. You must know what your objectives are and what it is that you're going to do. Then it must be mandatory. Your objectives must be mandatory. It's not just something that you write on paper. It is, there are some things that you must do. There's no chance about it. There are definite things that you must do, and then you must have a message. What you must do must be communicable. There must be clear messaging to support what it is that you are doing. And there must be, the intention of it is for you to capture a particular segment of your market. There is Gary talk about the demography, the psychography, the geography. That means there is a particular set of people that you're going after. So there's a market, there is a place that you're actually go there to serve people with what it is that you are doing. And out of that, you're going to pull a movement. Individuals who now they are now your fans. They wear you, they talk you, they become your tribe. You become like a Martin Luther King to the Black Lives movement in the 60s. These are your business, your clients, your business associates, your client. This is your movement. Once you put something out there, they are just waiting for you to drop the next iteration of your product and your service. You have your movement. You're talking to them all the time. And sure enough, when you have that, it is going to put money in your pocket at all times. So Legacy Chronicles was designed to do just that for our market, the people that we are focusing on. And let me just tell you the reason why we actually decided who we were serving. When we were years ago, when we were doing our research, I was listening to one of my mentors at that time. It was a gentleman by the name of Joe Polish. And Joe was he cleans for a living. He cleans homes and businesses for a living. And what he discovered that he started doing, putting out, I think, newsletters, something to advise people in how he was, how what cleaning was, how cleaning cleaning must be done effectively. And what he realized that most of the persons that were taking in his information was not the general audience, not the people that he was trying to reach, but was actually other cleaners, other persons who were doing the same service that he was presenting to the community. So he shifted his focus. Instead of focus on clients, his clients, he started marketing his services to fellow individuals that were carrying out the same services, cleaners. And out of that, that was where I got the spark that I should focus on the people that do the same thing that I do. And so we begin to look at my background, and I am a pastor by training and by profession. I started to look at pastors and ministry leaders, but not just pastors and ministry leaders, who are career professionals, not just pastors and ministry leaders who are career professionals, but pastors and ministry leaders who are also entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a career professional, yes, we talk to you too. But my focus is pastors and ministry leaders who are career professionals and who are entrepreneurs. Why? Because they have a particular language. They speak a certain way that I already know that language. And then what I realized was that many pastors and ministry leaders, they preach their message, but then the one-time message, that message was thrown away because they got to find a fresh one for next week Sunday. And it's going to continue for the rest of the year. And sometimes good messages just go by the wayside. So I said, how can I help these individuals to be memorable? And how do I capture their message and package it into books? And so the Legacy Chronicles programs were born because, number one, again, a lot of pastors and ministry leaders, they are so busy in what they're doing that I think they need to be able to identify themselves. Successful pastors and ministry leaders, they knew how to market themselves. They knew how to brand themselves. And one of the fastest way we discover for a person to brand themselves is to brand themselves in their own mind. If we do not, if we haven't have that impact, so we take the stories, the life story of a pastor and a ministry leader, we put it in a book and we put their face on the cover. And there is something miraculous that happens to a person, to their psyche, to the way how they see themselves, to the way how they view themselves when their face is on the cover of a book. And then we tell them, give away that book, because it creates such an impact when everybody around you now begin to see your face on a book. Everybody now begin to see you differently and begin to treat you differently. So, we are designed to help people to be remembered, and we are also helping individuals, because what we do find individuals in the marketplace, again, that as we project ourselves as individuals, we need to, all of this that we're communicating to individuals, it's not something that you just pull out of the ear. As I mentioned, the 7 degrees, the seven clinical objectives, to be memorable, to have a mission, to have a mandate, message, movement, money. There has to be a design. There has to be a design. If you're going to create a message, if you're going to create a mission, there has to be, using Gary's term, a clinical design, which requires a plan. It has to be planned. And so we assist individuals to create, first of all, start with you, the pastors and ministry leaders. Start with you. And we're advising anybody listening to this program as well to start with you with a master plan that takes into consideration everything that you are, everything about yourself, starting from the day, your earliest memory as a child, and collate that body of information. And that is how we build the Legacy Chronicles book, because we diagnose every memory that a person has from their childhood all the way to where you are current. Because what you do find when you do that, you begin to know yourself. You are introduced to yourself at a way that you've never been before. Because most people live from the looking, always looking out, and they never take the time to actually look inside to know some of those values. A lot of things that are left on the table of their mind that never come to light. So we ask individuals to do a self-evaluation, create that master plan for your life, which can be extended to family, which can be extended to community. The same principles are extended all the way up to corporate. So with that, we help individuals to, number one, just be memorable. And when you are memorable and you know how to do that clinical approach to how you get your life and the mission and the design, because finally we strongly believe that every individual was placed on the planet for a particular problem to find the solution. And when you find that solution and you brand yourself as the ideal person where everyone can get that solution from, then guess what? You will be memorable. People will be talking about you for years to come.
All right, thanks for that share, Peter. Now, I want to introduce the GIP initiative. Today's program comes to you with a kind compliment of GIP and what GIP stands for. GIP stands for Global Influencers Partners Program. Now, this program is a very, very unique program for Rising Star in business for many, many reasons. So you build a brand, what's the next step? You want visibility, you want reach, you want impact, you want client conversion, you want confidence, trust, and credibility. How do you attain that? Well, the GIP initiative is going to give you all of that and so much more. Let me quickly walk you through some of the benefits of the GIP initiative. One of the key takeaways with the GIP initiative, you will be taught the fastest ways to cash flow your business. Along with being taught about the fastest ways to cash flow your business, you will also be taught how to create multiple streams of income for your business. And these are programs that has been tested and tried for quite some time, and we know it will work for you. So when you want to start your business and cash flow fast, the GIP initiative is the program for you to look at. You will also be taught about the real cost of doing business, because we see many rising stars in business. You get into business and guess what? You underestimate the cost of doing business, or you disregard the cost of doing business. Next, you will be taught about the mastering your MVO. Many businesses get started, and guess what you do also? You go to market with 10 different ideas. Why not take one, master one, up level one, delegate it out, and then focus on the next one? It gives you a better springboard to grow and to excel. We will talk to you about personal branding, building and mastering your personal brand. Frank spoke today about personal brand. I spoke today about personal branding, and we will go deeper into these concepts so you have that clear idea of what personal branding is all about. This program will also talk to you about building and mastering your corporate brand. Do you really understand how to build a strong corporate brand? We go deep into that for you. I'm just going to skip through this now. You will also be taught what we call the 8 steps to becoming a global influencer. What we're saying to you, why settle to just be a local influencer? You can be global. And we will introduce to you, the GIP initiative will introduce you 8 practical steps that will propel you into global visibility. And just an example of this, we have been working with clients and we have been introducing them to platforms that has over 2 billion potential consumers. And we have been growing them there and growing them pretty fast. So if you want to grow fast, I encourage you to become part of the GIP initiative. Now, as you get into the GIP initiative, you may find that you may have to join the waiting list, because we are only training a limited amount of persons at any one time. So you may have to join the waiting list. So my advice is to take action, and to take action now. and become part of the GIP movement. So, with that being said, I want to come back to Paul and ask Paul to chime in a little bit on some of the additional financial instruments that you have available to our listening audience. Paul, all to you. And then I'm going to come to Frank. Then we're going to start to wrap up.
Okay.
Paul, all to you.
Well, Gary, I think I hit all financial programs I've got available. I could rehash them, but that'd be boring.
Okay.
I can go into one, or I could give you just a quick overview of what I'm thinking about the subject, whatever you decide.
Yeah, your move. What we're going to do, we're going to take one of them moving forward and we're going to expand on it so the audience are able to get the depths of what one instrument represents. But you can give an overview, no problem, my friend. Go right ahead.
Okay. I write bullet points down. You guys know that because I don't want to miss anything. You've got a brand no matter what. Doesn't matter if you want it or not, you have it. And you can maximize it, you can let it sit, or you can make it look bad. It's the actions that you take that enhance or degrade your brand. I'll tell you about our brand. We've established a brand in the industrial hemp fiber industry, and it happened because we made it happen. But it started. I want to tie this into something we always talk about. It started with one connection on LinkedIn that led down the road, led down the path, and that took us to where people call us now because they know who we are in that industry. And our brand, we have this, just like you say, we understand our clients in the market. We've established ourselves as experts in that industry. And because of that, people call us. We still have to call people and go out and seek customers. But now customers seek us for that purpose. And I love that. I love it. It's makes you really feel good when you get a call out of nowhere that you didn't initiate and it turns into a large deal. So that's what can happen when you establish a brand. Our brand in that industry is raising capital for startup industrial hemp fiber factories, just like what's behind us. So establishing a brand, in my opinion, as we all know, extremely important. If you make it happen, people will call you, and that leads to a lot because once one person calls you and you do a good job for them, they're going to refer you to somebody else. And it's the snowball begins and the snowball gets bigger and it just keeps on going. So that's it. Back to you guys.
All right, great share, and Paul. To all of our viewers, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. So you will be the first to get this program. Once you're in business, you find this content interesting. Again, I want to encourage you to like it, subscribe, share, make a comment. All right. So, Frank, over to you. Your thoughts on what we're discussing today.
I just want to tie in why leadership brand matters. And it matters because it has far reaching implications. It impacts teams, stakeholders, and the broader business community. And some of the things that cause leadership brand to matter is influences perception and trust. The leadership brand shapes how others perceive you. So a strong and consistent leadership brand can enhance trust and credibility. It drives career progression. So if you have a well-defined, a well-managed leadership brand, that can accelerate your career progression because it signals your capabilities and your interests, and it will help you to land opportunities that align with your career aspirations. It also has an impact on organizational culture and performance. As a leader, the brand influences your organization's culture, your organization's performance, and your leadership style, value, and behavior shape the work environment. It also impacts how the team performs. So when you're building a leadership brand, it's not just a journey. It's a journey, not a destination. So it requires continuous effort, self-reflection, and growth. Having a strong leadership brand, you can create a lasting impact. You can inspire others. You can achieve career goals. And you must remember, the leadership brand is a reflection of who you are as a leader. So my advice to you is that you stay authentic and true to yourself. As a business leader, the responsibility of shaping your leadership brand is in your hands.
All right, I like that one. Your responsibility of shaping your leadership brand is in your hands. And that's why it's important to have a leader in the house, because you rise and fall on leadership, you rise and fall on habits, you rise and fall on relationship. So why not make all of this part of your brand, where you really take the time to understand leadership and how to apply leadership the right way, and that so in a manner that it affects you and everyone else around you. Build the right habits, invest in the right relationships. So I love that share. Peter, I'm going to come to you for your closing remarks, and then I'm going to come across to Paul.
Yeah. We I liked what Paul said a while ago, that um people are now calling him. He has done some work, and then now it's nice to know that individuals are now calling him, that he didn't go out and uh,
He's beginning to
act-
master the book, Peter. He's beginning to
there you
master
go.
the pull factors of there.
The pull factor, yeah, that's beautiful. Another thing, it's nice when you know you're doing a good job, is when people forget your name, your personal name, and they call you Legacy Chronicles. Okay, I like that. It's good because you know that when you are in a circle and you have projected yourself, because as I say, it's very clinical, it's very intentional, and there are the steps that has to be taken for you to do it. A part of what we also do and we're putting a lot of emphasis on this now as we are building out the Human Growth Master Plan program, is to ask families, not just in the sense of the personal level, but to ask families, how do you want to be remembered? What is the legacy that you're passing on from one generation to the next generation? We're getting people to be much more focused that you are going to die. We can't individuals, you're going to die. No matter how much contribution that you make in life. Steve Jobs is not here today, but he has made so much contribution that we still continue to remember him. We may not be remembered by the world, but your children and your grandchildren ought to remember the contribution that you make for their well being. We can't afford just to live life day by day, just by default, without looking at our children, looking at our grandchildren with a design to say that, and it may not, and where legacy is concerned, it may not be even money. It can be the principles that you have learned, and you package that into a book, you package that into a course that you want every grandchild must read this to know what grandma, grandpa, how we get to where we are. Because guess what? As we live through life, life is repetitive. And when I look at my son and look at some of the challenges that he has gone through, at certain points in his life, it's as if I'm looking at myself at that age. And so if we can package our life story in a document that we can pass on, we may not gain the big real estate portfolio. We may not get to the insurance portfolio, all these monetary um, legacy that we can pass on. But how about if we show them where we are coming from, the pitfalls of life? How about we show them where we are coming from as an individual, and we let them know that if you follow these principles, you will succeed. That I think it's a valuable lesson, a valuable contribution, a chronicling of your legacy that you can pass on to the next generation. And I can assure you, if you do that, they will indeed make the money, because they are going to know that they ought not to do this. They ought not to do that. Simple things. Don't talk to that kind of a girl. Do not talk to that kind of a boy, that kind of a man. Some basic things that the next generation need to know. And when you pass on those principles, package those principles and pass it on to your children and your grandchildren, then you can lay in the box and rest, because you know that you will be remembered. You have passed on your brand that they will now take, and they can pass it on to successive generations.
All right, Peter. Paul, your closing remark?
I love the idea of a legacy chronicles. It's really important to, I think, write a book of your life. That'd be so enjoyable for your kids to read a book of your life. So I 100% support that. My final comment on this subject is Frank made me think about this. And did you, Gary? So when we think of influencers, we think of beautiful women dancing on TikTok and holding the product up. I guess that, yeah, they're influencers, but that's not the only style of an influencer. An influencer is anybody who says, work with Peter because, like my influencers, I do have some beautiful women, but they don't dance and hold things up on TikTok. I actually have beautiful women, and beautiful women are the best salespeople. People want to buy from them, and they're great influencers. So I've got a percentage of those in my camp. The other percentage that I have in my camp as far as influencers are guys who out there with their hands in the mud, mixing stuff up, building affordable housing. I told you guys about my very something I've been pursuing for a while, and it finally came true. Well, the influencers that made that happen are two guys who are building affordable housing with hempcrete. So influencers come in many shapes, forms, and sizes. Some are short, some are tall, some are beautiful, some are I don't know, nobody's ugly. Some are regular. I'm ugly. You guys are beautiful, but they're not all beautiful women. An influencer is anybody who delivers your message, who knows, likes, trusts, and loves you, and delivers your message to your audience.
All right. All right. Great shares. Um, I trust that the audience would have taken away a lot from these programs. I want to assure the public that we are going to keep getting better and better, all because there is a tremendous passion to want to serve you and to ensure that you, the rising star in business, get the kind of information that you need to optimize the level of success. Today, we cover a number of topics. We look at what is a brand. So you were able to understand branding. You had some idea of marketing. You also learned about leadership, and you learned about access to capital. You also learned about the importance of leaving a legacy. I do believe that all of these things play a very pivotal role in your life. And let me say what. There are many rising stars in life that, guess what, because you didn't think about a legacy, you would have gone to meet your maker and everything about you disappear with your absence in the world. And I do believe that the way that we want to live our lives as leaders is to ensure that all that we know is transferred to the kids and the grandkids. So there's that continuous learning curve that is keep building on and building on and building on. But when you leave with your experiences without properly chronicling these data, you leave your kids and grandkids no choice but to restart that entire process. So there's a lot that we are going into here to really help you to make better, smarter business decisions and life decisions. In conclusion, again, I want to say that this program comes to you with a kind compliment of the GIP initiative. In the event that you're wondering what GIP is, if you're joining us for the first time, GIP represents the Global Influencers Partners Program. And it's a program we want to partner with you to ensure that we're giving you the support to become influencers. Now, why this program has been designed? We're seeing that many millions of persons you are starting business, but you're struggling to cash flow your business. You're struggling to cash flow because you're not known, you're not liked, and you're not trusted. And what is the fastest pathway to be known, liked, and trusted? You can do two things. You can invest in becoming an influencer, and the GIFT program is designed to do that for you, or you can partner with influencers who can endorse your brand and give you the visibility, the reach, the impact, the possibility to optimize client conversion, build confidence and trust and credibility in the eyes of your public, which is the dream and hopes and aspiration of all rising stars in business. And these are some of the reasons why we have designed the GIP initiative and the other programs that we are involved with. So I want to encourage you, reach out to us in the event that you need to learn more about the programs that we are offering. With that being said, I want to thank my team and Frank, who is an economist, a leader by profession. He's also going to be a new author. I'm excited to get that book from him. We also have, yes, definitely, go Frank, go. We also have Paul in the house, and Paul is the guy that ensures that you get the access to capital to grow and scale your business. And last but not least, we have Peter, and he's the guy that talks to you about the importance of building that legacy that's going to live for a lifetime. Like the Rockefeller, right? The Rockefeller, like the Rothschild. I think the Rockefeller legacy lives in ExxonMobil because ExxonMobil still exists today across the world, and he is the founder of that program. The Rothschilds, another legacy. Perhaps we'll take some time as time progresses to talk about these great iconic figures who have really left a legacy and a strong impression on the world that lives for hundreds and hundreds of years. So with that being said, I want to thank my team for being here today, and we'll do this again tomorrow. See you guys.